Hello guys, this is EM Online TV. My name is Ivan G. Today we get a chance to meet with volunteer from Germany here at Jianghu International. So we want to learn some things about their culture and how youth fighting in German and our experience to be here. And also we had some information that he was also visiting Tanzania. So we want to know something about Anna, how are you?
I'm very fine. How are you?
I'm good. Really, I'm happy to be with you here in this interview. For sure, we want to know little some cultures in German and how you saw our culture in here, especially in Uganda. So first of all, I want to know, but shortly, about the education system in German.
Okay. So it's some parts are very similar to Uganda, as I learned. But for us, we go to kindergarten when the kids are around like 3 years old, maybe, and they stay there up to age of 5 or 6, and from there they start primary. So in primary school is from year 1 to 4, and then after year 4 they can choose, like, there are different schools they can go to. There's like high school where they can get their A levels. There is a middle school where they can get O levels, and there is also another school which is somehow close to O levels. So regarding to your grades, how good you are at school, you can choose which school you are like joining. But still, if you're joining the one for O level, after O level, you can still choose to continue to get your A levels. And then after, once you are happy with what you have, like once you graduate, in year, either O level is in year 10 and A levels is in year 12 or 13. And after that, you can either choose to work, you can learn it how to get a job or what, or you can join university and study something different. And then you can study for however much long you want, or yeah.
Yeah, it's really amazing and it's really different. So for what if I'm not mistaken, is you study at primary level for 4 years.
Yes.
And then from there you choose. That is really amazing.
Exactly.
You know, for us, primary level, we study for 7 years. And
Long.
so maybe I like the way you say that you, after primary level, you're going to choose a school which. Can you give us the experience of those school which after primary level?
So let me say, when I say you're choosing, it's mostly your parents who are choosing because you are still young. So mostly they look at your grades and then they think like, okay, maybe you can make it to your A levels directly. So if they send you to high school, it's just yeah, you have different subjects for quite some time until I think year 10, and then you can choose like different focuses. So for me, I focused on German, Latin, and economics in year 11, and then you really like prioritize these subjects. So it's quite nice that at some point you can choose which direction you want to go to. But still, after high school, if you want to join university, these focuses, they don't really matter so much. Because I learned in Uganda it's different. They focus on something, and then after school they have to continue with this. But for us, we can just continue with whatever we want to do after.
Yeah, okay. So maybe for us here in Africa or in Uganda, also the same in Tanzania, we have something known as a syllabus. It's like a guideline which all schools in all nations should follow that, whatever the private school or government school. So there is a guideline. So I want to know if there is this applicable in German or.
Yes, there is. So there are certain like guidelines that okay, different regions have different guidelines sometimes, but there's also a general guideline for the whole country, and each school they have to follow that. So there are certain contents that students have to learn about. For example, in mathematics, they need to learn how to like count or what, like, okay, that's an easy example, but there are different things that students have to learn in every school. Like, regarding which school you choose after primary, there's certain things everyone has to learn. So maybe for high school there are things which are topped up, so you know more afterwards, but the basic things we all learn the same. And then also for graduation, if I graduate in my region, it's the same exam I'm writing compared to, for example, the northern part of Germany.
Yeah, it's really amazing. And what I realized or experienced, just like for you, you are too young. Like, because for us, if you reach at the stage maybe to go outside of other country to do or work or to volunteer, maybe we expect you to, after finishing senior 6 or after finishing university, you can go to another country or another place to do work. But for you, and it's not only you, and also I have experience because I meet with other people in Tanzania. When I ask their age, they are too young, and they do the greater things. What is the secret on that issue?
I think the secret is that you have to have that motivation and that energy that you, for yourself, you decide you want to go somewhere. There are many people who just stay within the country and they continue with their career. It's also very possible and very okay. For me, I just have that spirit in me that I want to see parts of the world and get to know different cultures. So even in 2018, during school, like during high school, I went to New Zealand for half a year and I studied from there. I joined their school, I came back, I joined German school again. So our guidelines, they allow you, even during the time you're at school, to study abroad. And I think our culture, our system in Germany, it really fosters that people get to know other people and other cultures. So for them, they're really caring so much about intercultural connections. And that's also the reason why it's very highly recommended, for example, after school or even in between your studies at university, that you go somewhere, because people believe that learning from somewhere else or really learning while living is a better way of learning than just sitting and reading books about it. Like you can imagine, if you read books about Germany, it's somehow you can try to imagine how it's like and what, but when you go there, you have the experience and you don't forget what's happening there. So for even our government, they foster those kind of exchanges, because they also want to have that exchange on a governmental level. So they also want that have that exchange within the people in the country. And I think it's very nice. And yeah, still many people don't use that opportunity, but I think it should be more established even in other countries.
Yeah, it's really great. There is some perception, like even myself, I had that perception at the previous. White people, they have a lot of money. When you see white people, you see money because yeah, they travel in different places. They do a lot of things. Yeah, how can you, like you as a youth, how can you manage financially yourself and make sure that all activity, all what you want are achieved? Because for us, it's very hard to maintain ourselves financially. How?
I think in general, first of all, I want to say that white people don't just mean money. If you see someone who's a white person, it doesn't mean they have money. They can be poor, like nothing. I think that perception of white people being rich is really so much because of history. Looking back at colonialism and even today neo-colonialism, it's still there. And when like Europeans came to those African countries, they were like making people here slaves and such kind of things. So that habit, I think, is really sticking to our cultural views. So yeah, first of all, I want to say that white people, it doesn't mean rich. Also, us, we have to work. For example, for me, while I was still at school, I started to get a job. Like I looked for jobs outside. When I was younger, I tried to help like maybe neighbors or something, or my grandparents with small housework things, and get some little pocket money for that. And then after, once you grow up a bit and you're allowed with like in a legal way to work, you try to look for jobs. For me, I like delivered newspapers or what. I delivered flyers, did some marketing things. Then I worked in a cafe, in a bakery shop, such kind of things. People do really look for jobs within the country, which they can do. Even during university, because sometimes university fees can be high, or even like the living costs can be high, so we have to find ways out how to be financially stable. And for us, we look for jobs. That's all I can say. And we try to engage ourselves in different activities, in different things that we like doing. But sometimes we just have to do it for the money. That's it. And some people, of course, they are lucky. Maybe they come from family where they have a lot of money, but it's not the usual case. So just like people here, we need to look for opportunities how to sustain our own lives.
That is great. That is really great. And maybe which things you found here in Uganda or in Tanzania, it's really surprised you, especially in our culture and maybe or youth lifestyle.
I think the most surprising or interesting part is that people are super creative, and while they are really, really friendly, like especially youth, you see how for us we just look for jobs, for example, to get our money. But here you see youth, they think about things like maybe someone is making bracelets, or some others, they go to the market, they sell some things, they try to be so innovative. And that spirit to just sit down and create something out of maybe sometimes nothing or nothing much. Many people have that here in Uganda and Tanzania, maybe also. I'm not so sure. But from what I've seen is that people really try to make the best out of everything they have, and they're happy with what they do, and just that energy that they bring every day to see that they can make it. That's super inspiring, and that's something sometimes in Germany I feel like people are leaning back and they feel like everything will be alright in some point, and here people are just pushing for it. And I think it's the spirit that we need to adapt also, but still people are not stressed. That's what I learned about Ugandans. Ugandans are relaxed all the time. They just be there, they see what's happening, and then one thing at a time. I love that in the culture here, and yeah, I think that's what I love most.
Yeah, it's really sound good. Even myself, yeah, I'm surprised with Ugandan people. They are relaxing. They don't confuse themselves or they don't complicate them about their life. Yeah, and still life is still going on. But this, I think, it will be the two last question, just a very shortly. How about issue of suffering in employment? Is how it that situation in German and how people they suffer about the employment. And I want to know for your experience on German education. Do you think it's really applicable in real life of German? Like what you get from the education German are really applicable in daily life? Because for us here in also especially in Tanzania and as and also some in Uganda, there is some skills which we get from the school already are not applicable in daily life. If you didn't get a job, you are useless. So what about that situation in Germany?
So first of all, about unemployment, I think it's what's really making the difference is that in Germany the government is protecting us. So we have a law for protection of workers, and we also have different groups who are protecting the rights of workers within every company, in different sectors. So I think that one really makes it easier for workers not to be treated badly, first of all. And nowadays we also have something like a minimum wage and such kind of things. So we have different tools that are being used by the government to protect our workers in the system of like employment. Still there are people who don't have jobs or who cannot find jobs, maybe because of like their health situation or whatever. And even for them we have different, how can I say, packages or tools how to support them. But still in Germany you also find people who are poor, you find people who are living on the streets, but it's their choice. Like for us in Germany, everyone has the right of living with within a house or in a room or somewhere where they can be warm, especially in winter season. So for us, every person has that right, but some people deny that right for their own personal reasons, which you never know. Yeah, but coming to, what was the other question?
Just the second question is how applicability of the education or lesson which you get in this class in daily life.
I have to admit, during school, there were many things I thought I will never need. And up to today, I've not needed them. And sometimes I really question our system that we have at school or also at university. Like for us, we learn from books. We try to learn the things by heart. Then we write an exam. We just write everything. The day after, we have forgotten about it. It's quite an issue, I think, that many students have in our country. And also the things we are learning, some of them are very useful, but some of them are maybe outdated or maybe not complete, especially when it comes to other countries. Even when I look at things like now colonialism or the history of the African continent or such kind of things, for us we only learn the German perspective. And sometimes, especially when I'm here, I'm thinking like we should learn more about other perspectives also, from other point of views, how maybe Ugandans perceive the history they've gone through when Germans came in or what Europeans. And those kind of parts we're missing out of them. But instead, we have many things that we'll never need in life. And sometimes the things should maybe change in the guidelines we have. But still, I also think the value of some things that we are learning, we will see it in a long time after school, maybe, or in our not necessarily in our job, but maybe in life. We learn methods how to learn. We learn methods how to remember some things. So why we are learning something which seems maybe unnecessary to us, we are learning a method through it. So maybe it's not about what you see on the surface, but what's behind. So with that, I cannot say everything is not needed, but some things are definitely can need to be adjusted at some point, I think.
Yeah, I remember one day you told me that you don't agree with that perception to beat people or to beat students. It's helped them. Why?
Um, I think some generations back in Germany, students were also still beaten at school. For us, they have forbidden it today, like up to today. No, it's forbidden. Luckily, because for me, I think it doesn't help anything. When I hear about how students are beaten at school and how kids are beaten at homes also, not only at school, but also at homes, um, I don't think it improves anything in their behavior. Maybe a kid will think, it didn't hurt so much, maybe I can do it again next time. So what we have at school is like, maybe for you it doesn't sound helpful in any way, but for us, when someone does something bad, they get, let me say, punished by doing extra work. So they have to work, like they have to write assessments or what, or write down long pages or copy something or read something, which can help them to understand why they did something wrong or why what they did was not right. And for me, I think that helps better for kids, especially in a young age, to reflect on their behaviors. And then they can understand, okay, this one, maybe it was really not good. I shouldn't do it again. But if I'm beaten, I don't even understand. Maybe sometimes kids don't even understand what they are beaten for. So for me, I think it's a method that really needs to change, as an act of violence should not be part of our educational system anywhere in the world. But I think it really needs time for people to get that thing out of their minds, because it's really in their cultural system also.
Thank you so much. For real, today I get a lot of things and I learn of, yeah, white people does not mean that they have a lot of money, but it's the way they arrange their things. And Anna, I want to say sorry for the border accident which you got in Tanzania. I know it does mean that the Tanzanian people they don't know how to ride the border, but I think maybe it's happened, but it's not normal. But maybe once it's happened. But I want to take this chance also to welcome you again in Tanzania and to visit other parts, like there is southern part of Tanzania, like in Njombe region, yeah, and also Rudewa district where I came from. Yeah, I think there is a lot of beautiful things, like such as Nyasa. And do you know ornament fish? There is some ornament fish which fish has a beautiful color.
Wow.
Yeah, I think if you get a chance to visit there, you will enjoy. I invite you to visit Rudewa district.
I will come there.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you too.